Has the Devil's Den double murderer ever murdered before? Or were the Brink family the only ones that he's ever killed? I made a video earlier about how the Vermont State Police were looking at Andrew McGann, the Devil's Den double murderer suspect, could be linked to an unsolved murder that they had. Now, that unsolved murder was a murder where a woman who had been hiking was shot with a firearm. Now, as you know, that is not how Clinton and Kristen Brink died. They were stabbed to death, and Vermont has since decided that they don't think that Andrew McGann could be related to their murder. But Wisconsin is a different story. So Wisconsin has an unsolved murder that happened at Devil's Lake State Park in their area, and that person was stabbed. Let's go through that crime. So on October 14th, 2024, the Sauk County Sheriff's Office and Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources began an investigation into the homicide of Wauwatosa, Wisconsin resident John Schmutzer that occurred at or about 11:30 a.m. on Grottoes Trail, located on the south side of the East Bluff at Devil's Lake State Park. Now, just a side note, you have to surely see the similarities between Devil's Den and Devil's Lake. They said that even 6 months into the investigation, they had received hundreds of tips that they had investigated and done so many interviews. They had executed a lot of search warrants and got some physical evidence examined, but they were unable to make an arrest. The public has been forthcoming with information when requested, which has led to identification of persons who we need to speak with, as well as avenues to investigate, yet we are still in search of a suspect in this case. Throughout the investigation, we have spoken to many witnesses from the area of South Lake Road near the group camp and CCC Trail along the East Bluff Trail that describe a male running frantically and quote unquote out of control north from the parking lot at the group camp in front of traffic, presumably on to or near Grottoes Trail, then north on East Bluff Trail to the North Shore area of Devil's Lake. Witnesses report that this person was roughly 6 feet tall, slender to average build, with darker colored pants with ripped out knees and a dark colored top, possibly a hoodie. The clothing was described as not standard running apparel. The person was reported to have fallen down while running north on multiple occasions. Based on the timeline of events and locations where this person was reported to be seen, we have identified him as a person of interest in this case. However, we need the public's assistance in providing more information if they have any. We still believe that someone knows or believes they know who the person responsible for this homicide is and encourage them to call us with that information. As noted in a November 11th press conference, the person responsible for this crime may still be a danger to himself or others, may have been exhibiting signs of instability in the days or weeks prior to the incident, or may have underlying mental health or drug or alcohol abuse challenges. Friends or family may be aware he carries a knife and may have seen changes in behavior that they believe worrisome. The individual may have begun suffering and displaying additional stress or anxiety as a result of John's death and may have become increasingly angry and abusive. He may have followed the news of this case closely, changed his appearance, vehicle, or left the area entirely without explanation. We renew our call to the public for information if you are at or in the vicinity of Devil's Lake State Park, to include the rural Baraboo area on October 14th, 2020 at any time, and recall seeing or encountering a person that may fit this description anywhere in the park or area and have information to provide, or or suspect who is responsible for the death of John Schmutzer. You are asked to call Sauk County Crime Stoppers at 888-847-7285. You may also email tips to tipsubmit.com or by texting TIPSAUK, which is TIPSAUK, to 274637. And that's the Sauk County Sheriff, Chip Meister. So that is information about the murder of John Schmutzer that is available online. You have to see the similarities here. And I'm not saying that Andrew McGahn is responsible for this murder, but the similarities, the dark clothing, the black backpack, the chaotic way that they behave. I have looked at videos of Andrew McGahn, and I'm not a professional, but I have seen people that have mental health issues that behave similarly or look similarly to Andrew McGahn. Now, is this his problem? I don't know. I don't have any idea why someone would do what he has done. And certainly it's not an excuse. I just have to wonder, is this something that has contributed to his behavior? And time will tell. I would fully expect that they will do a fitness to proceed exam on him in due time. So we will probably see how that goes. But in the meantime, I think that you have to wonder, is this the only time Andrew McGahn has harmed another individual, or is he responsible for more murders? And I think other states and their unsolved crimes, seem to believe that he could be responsible for more. What do you think?